Hey guys, Galaxy5 here. So today I'm going to be making another video on the brand new Sonic the Hedgehog 3 5-inch figures. So as you can see here, I have the final two that I needed to complete the entire set. That being the main antagonist, Shadow the Hedgehog, and maybe Dr. Robotnik. If you haven't already, please make sure to check out my previous video, that being the review of the 5-inch figures of Sonic and Tails. So maybe before you watch this video, you could go watch the review of these two bad boys, because they are pretty cool. Alright, so the first figure we're going to be taking a look at today is, of course, the man himself, Shadow the Hedgehog. The packaging of the figure is basically the exact same thing as all the other figures, that being just some promotional art of Team Sonic, as well as some promotional art for Shadow. And we have here the Sonic 3 logo, of course. On the back of the box, we have here a picture of the figure itself and a little character description for Shadow. It says, Shadow is a fierce and mysterious foe who is determined to accomplish his goals and will let anything stand in his way. So, yeah, that's basically the entire box. You can see here, there's Shadow himself. So, without further ado, let's take him out. Alright, so as you can see here, I have Shadow the Hedgehog out of its packaging, and I know I say this about pretty much all of the figures I reviewed in the past for this movie, but this figure looks absolutely amazing. I know some of you may say that I might be glazing Shadow the Hedgehog and Jakks Pacific, but honestly, I do not think they could have made like a more accurate figure than this, but that's just my opinion. But look at him, it's Shadow, it's Shadow! Alright, well, without out of the way, let's take like an actual look at Shadow real quick. So, as you can see here, here's Shadow's face. I think Jakks Pacific did a really good job on the face sculpt, in my opinion. I've seen some people online having like mixed feelings and mixed reactions about it, but honestly, I think it's really good. You know, like, I really like his frown. He looks accurate to what he looks like in the trailer, as you can see here. Looks practically identical. So just like Sonic, Shadow has exactly 22 points of articulation. So he has articulation on the arms, of course, on the hands. He can also open his hands too. He has some articulation on the legs, of course, and he has articulation on his torso here. So in my opinion, I think the whole torso articulation thingy fits more with Shadow, since his body is literally just pitch black. But in my opinion, it doesn't really work with Sonic, since whenever you do it, this little peach thingy on Sonic's belly kind of just like disconnects and it looks really wrong. So yeah, in my opinion, it fits better with Shadow's design. Moving on to Shadow's shoes, and as usual, Jakks Pacific cooked with his shoes. They are really accurate to the movie. I like how I like every individual detail on Shadow's shoe. You can see right there. There's some texture on Shadow's shoe, actually. It's kind of hard to see, but it's there. So yeah, really well done with the shoes. The paint is pretty decent. It's not that bad. There are a few like little spots here and there, but it's no big deal. Now, this isn't like a problem or anything, but for some reason Shadow is like slightly heavier than Sonic. Like, he is much more bulkier. Like Sonic is like pretty light, but Shadow, he's like slightly more heavier. I don't know what it is. But overall, this is a really great figure, and I honestly really do recommend getting this one. Alright, so here's a size comparison between the Shadow figure and the Sonic figure. So as you can see, Shadow is like slightly more taller than Sonic, but that's mainly because of his spikes. Here's a size comparison between Shadow and Tails, and obviously Tails is a lot smaller. Here's a size comparison between movie Shadow and Shadow from Sonic Prime, and in my opinion, movie Shadow definitely looks a lot better. And finally, we have a size comparison between the big shadow, which is 5 inches, and the small shadow, which is 2.5 inches. Alright, so now that we're done taking a look at Shadow the Hedgehog, what about we take a look at the main antagonist of the series? Dr. Robotnik! Alright, so for the final figure we're going to be taking a look at today is the man himself, Dr. Robotnik, or weirdly what the box calls him, Ivo Robotnik, which is kind of weird because in neither of any of the movies before have they called them Ivo Robotnik by his middle name. So I honestly think that's pretty weird. Alright, so on the back, of course, we have here a picture of the figure itself, and over here is a character description for Robotnik. It says, Ivo Robotnik proves that you can't keep an evil genius down for long and sets his sights on world domination. No big deal. So, yeah, the box is pretty much the same. So, without further ado, let's open him. Alright, so as you can see here, I have Robotnik out of his packaging, and honestly, he doesn't really look that bad. So as you can see here, he is really detailed. He has about the same amount of articulation as the other figures, him having 20 points of articulation. So yeah, I really love the fact that his suit is in this kind of like rubbery material, so that it allows him to like still move his legs around despite this little part of his suit in the way. So I think that's really cool. But I do gotta say though, I am kind of disappointed that this is pretty much just like a more detailed version of Sonic Movie 2 Eggman, because spoiler alert, if you do not want any spoilers and you want to avoid any spoilers for Sonic 3 as much as possible, I recommend you skip this part. But anyways, a few weeks ago there has been a leak that contained a picture of Robotnik and like a whole other suit, and it was really game accurate. So I'm kind of disappointed that Jack Pacific didn't give him that suit. So that's one thing I kind of don't like about this figure. It's just a bigger version of Sonic 2 Eggman instead of Sonic 3 Eggman. So yeah, other than that, this is a really cool figure. The paint job is pretty good, other than the face, in my opinion. It looks kind of cursed, but I do gotta say I really love the sculpt. It looks exactly like Eggman. Have I said that? I don't know. I honestly don't know if I've said that yet. But anyways, so yeah, about the same amount of articulation. It's kind of sad that his hands cannot like open or close. They're kind of stuck in this position. Focus, camera. Okay, well that. Alright, so camera's not focusing, but his hands are just stuck in this position. This hand is like, he thinks he's Spider-Man, and this hand, I honestly don't know what he's doing. So yeah, not a bad figure, other than the fact that his suit is the exact same thing as his Sonic 2 suit. So yeah. Alright, so here's a size comparison between Robotnik and all the other figures in the set, and of course he is the tallest. Oh, it's a squirrel. And now here's a size comparison between the big Eggman, which is about 5 inches, and the smaller Eggman, which is about 2.5 inches. Alright, so that's gonna be the end of today's video. As you can see here, I now have the entire set of the Sonic Movie 3 5-inch figures. Hopefully they release another wave of these figures, maybe include like a Super Sonic or a Super Shadow, or maybe even a Knuckles, most importantly. Where's he at? So yeah, that's gonna be the end of today's video. If you like today's video, please leave a like, and please consider subscribing to the channel, and hit the bell notifications so you never miss a new video. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.